Hello friends, today we are going to be talking about Miss Olivia Rodrigo and her new album Guts, which just came out about a week ago. So just to kick us off, I was and am a huge fan of Sour. The overall sound of that album was totally my vibe, and on top of that it had really strong songwriting elements. Olivia and Daniel Nigro really put emotions into play with simple yet highly relatable strings of words. So needless to say, I was pretty excited to hear what else was going to come from Olivia. The first single from Guts, Vampire, was way more than promising. The overall sound and vibe of the song felt like a natural yet kind of short step away from Sour. I wouldn't say there was a really big change in the sound, but it did have some degree of evolution. Of course, that can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you view it, but I think this was a great choice for a lead single. With it, she brought all the emotion that we know and love her for, and just kicking off with a piano ballad, kind of following in the steps of what she did with Driver's License with her first album. But with this one, she also sets the mood more for the album, as the second half of the song just really picks up in a way that changes the atmosphere of the song. Following Vampire, we had Bad Idea, right? Which I think maybe overall got kind of mixed reviews from the crowd. Again, the sound was really similar to what we have already heard in Sour, but falling more into the category of like teenage angst. For me, this was just a fun song. I don't think it was intended to be taken too seriously, if anything. I enjoyed the whole cheerleader-y vibes of it. It's not one that I had on repeat all day, but it's not something that I would skip either. It's not a track that I can particularly relate to, but I like how the lyrics are written in a very light-hearted, jokey way, because this is quite different from what we have seen from her before, and actually kind of opposing Sour, which comes as a refreshing change. Because artists need to grow and experiment and do different things. We don't want a copy-paste of the first album. Alright, so now let's talk about the release. So first I went through the album track by track, and right off the bat I was actually slightly disappointed. I feel like not a lot of tracks stood out to me immediately, the same way that I had with Sour. Like the first time I listened to Driver's License, bam. The first time I listened to Traitor, bam. It felt like just song after song upon a first listen, I already was like, wow. And I had that a lot less with this album. Of course, it's probably not fair to make that sort of comparison, but again, this album, it is more lighthearted and more fun, and there's nothing wrong with that. I absolutely love that. But I think it's natural that we have some kind of expectations, or we make comparisons, of course, to older work. For me, it usually takes a few listens to really get into a song. For me, it usually takes a couple of listens to really grasp a song for what it is as a whole. Kind of like if I was looking at a painting, it would take me a while to scan it and kind of see the whole picture. That's how I am with music. Most of the times, I have to listen to a song multiple times, but there are some instances where I hear a song and immediately I'm like, this is it. And I had that a lot with Sour, and I think I was just ready to have my heart broken again, but instead I was taken aback by the tone of the album, which is more fun, upbeat, jokey. Just to be clear, I think it rocks. Olivia brings in edginess with clever lyricism, and if I'm a sucker for anything, is pop punk grungy music with powerful lyrics. So the tracks that stood out to me the most on a first listen were the opening track, All American Bitch, Getting Back, and Love's Embarrassing. Now you've probably also heard other people making this comparison, but I really, when I heard All American Bitch, I was just like, this sounds a little bit like Start All Over from Miley Cyrus. But I also feel like, poor Olivia, like she just can't catch a break with people comparing her songs to other people. But I do feel like I hear this kind of more than I heard some of the ones from Sour. But this is just something that's normal in music. You'll hear melodies or things that will remind you of other songs, and a lot of songs take inspiration from other songs. As an opening track, I think it was perfect to set the mood for the album, with the calm verses but then really angsty pop chorus, and of course all the screaming in the bridge. And of course, lyrically taking a stance about the ridiculous expectations that women are faced with. Moving on to Getting Back, I think this is one of my favorite songs on the album. Just the way she wrote the song, it's really fun. Again, it's one of these songs that is not supposed to be taken too seriously, but it's just an interesting take on wanting someone back and wanting to get back at someone. I just really like how chaotic the track feels, and just with lyrics like Then we have songs like Love's Embarrassing. For me, I think this might be the best song on the album. We again hear the progression from Sour, as the sound is still kind of similar, but lyrically the song is still on the more lighthearted side, which is what kind of Guts overall has encompassed. Of course, she has the ballads with the more emotional lyrics too. But for me, the more standout songs are actually the fun, lighthearted ones. Another song that I'm getting really into is the Ballad of a Homeschooled Girl. With lyrics like, I made it weird, I made it worse. It's exactly the kind of song you would want to listen to after you've had an awkward social interaction. Overall, Olivia does not disappoint. This album comes packed with lighthearted, fun lyrics and catchy melodies that will be encouraging your bad decisions for at least the next year. What did you guys think of Guts? Let me know below which song from the album stood out for you the most. Also, just as a closing thought, I really like the album cover. And I'm curious if she's gonna make it like a theme that every album will be purple, or if we can expect to have a change for that for the next one. But anyway, as always, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!